Amigos, amigas, this is the Mexican Soccer Show. Apologies for being a few minutes late, trying to make sure we get everything ready to go, make sure everything's working, and everybody's here. So we're going to just jump right in, saying hello to everybody from this side of the United States and talking to our Mexican experts that are there, that are in Mexico right now. We have lots and lots to cover. So we're going to jump in with the big question of the night. The Liguilla teams are now all set. Of the 8 teams that are on there, did you know who did you know was absolutely going to be there since the beginning, and who are you surprised made the cut? So León, Tigres, Monterrey, Cruz Azul, América, Necaxa, Pachuca, Xolos, and we're gonna go with Adriana there in La Ciudad de Mexico, who is right now paying attention. He's simultaneously, there is a game going on. We'll talk about why Adriana is looking up at his screen,
constantly looking this way.
So if you see her, she's gone in. So to you, looking at those 8 teams, starting at the beginning of the season, Adriana, if you had to think about, all right, these are the ones that are definitely going to make it. These are the ones that definitely are not going to make it. Any surprises that's there? Tell me what's going on.
I think we all thought that despite however they started the season, Tigres was going to make it. I think we're pretty. I think we knew America was going to make it. It would have been like a catastrophe, like a Chivas-sized catastrophe for the current champion.
You're naming it as a Chivas. Like you're actually naming Chivas-sized catastrophe now in your vocabulary. Yep. I like it.
Yep. So I think we knew America would make it through, especially after signing Nico Castillo and stuff like that. I'm obviously surprised with Xolos. I have to say I'm kind of mad that they made it through too.
Okay.
No. They did several things that I'm not quite happy with. And well, I have to say at the beginning of the season, I didn't think Necaxa would be this strong. So I think we're kind of surprised to see them. I think the others we kind of understood them making it through. But yeah, probably Necaxa because we weren't familiar with Brian Fernandez and how he would come up with the team and eventually leave them to go to Portland. But still, quite a strong team. I think the others we kind of thought would make it through. I think no one thought León would be this strong. Though. I mean, just making it through was like, okay, yeah, they could. But I think we would all have thought like 6th, 5th place, something like that.
Okay. All right. So Tigres, América, Xolos. Would you put Cruz Azul in there? I think it was like Cruz Azul became a semifinalist.
I think
in the beginning. Yeah.
I think we could have made it.
You have like your maybes, Pachuca, and León, and then you're definitely surprised.
Pachuca, León, Necaxa.
Okay.
Yeah, Xolos was the biggest surprise for me.
Xolos, biggest surprise. Got it. Mr. Tom, La Ciudad de Guadalajara, there. How's it going? And tell me let's start with your big surprise that you thought from the very beginning and when we were asked you this question, who's going to be? I think it's one of the questions.
I mean, I think Necaxa, no doubt. I think they sold Victor Davila in the off season. I think over the winter, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know, you look through the team and you think this isn't a team that's going to do much. I mean, at the start of the season there was no outstanding individual. This is a team that's going to talk about in a bit of detail, but players like Christian Calderon, the fullback, is I think he's on loan from Atlas and he's just been absolutely superb. Hugo Gonzalez got in goal, fringe of the national team. The 2 guys in centre midfield, Gallegos and Gonzalez, they're the kind of platform of the team. And then obviously Brian Fernandez has just been absolutely outstanding. I mean, I think we'd be talking more if it wasn't for Anna. I mean, Fernandez has been absolutely sensational. I think he's only played 15 games as well. I think it's 12 goals in 15 games? I mean, it's just, and that's mainly from the wings. So, yeah, so Necaxa, I mean, I think Nacho Ambriz as well. No, not Nacho Ambriz. Guillermo Vasquez deserves credit because, he's got the team playing pretty good football as well. So, yeah, definitely Necaxa. And then the ones that you expect, I mean, I've written about before, but I think Liga MX is becoming more predictable. It's absolutely unthinkable these days that Tigres don't make a Liguilla. I mean, and it's pretty much the same with Monterrey. America as well. I think, what did they hold the record? Was it 10 consecutive seasons making the Liguilla? And then, beyond that, what was it, sorry?
You said America 10 seasons in Liguilla, and I was like, damn it.
And I mean, if there's a surprise team not there, it'd be Toluca. Because I think a lot of people thought they could even push for the title here.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember,
Toluca are
Tom,
always there,
the
and
press
this time,
conference where they presented all the new players, and they were like, "We've never invested this much money in players in the entire club history," and then they don't make it to a Liguilla.
Yeah, they don't make the Liguilla, and they absolutely embarrass themselves in the CONCACAF Champions League. So yeah, I think Toluca, just looking ahead to this Liguilla as well. I mean, I think it's absolutely really nicely set up. I mean, I think it's I don't know, I'm excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point, and we'll kind of talk about that. But when I'm looking at it, and Monterrey, Cruz Azul, America, Tigres, I mean, we knew those guys had to make, especially after what happened to Cruz Azul. Then you had, I'm glad you said Toluca because I remember putting him on there. Pachuca, the ones. I'm surprised Xolos there. I'm surprised León was there. I thought it was a huge rebuilding type of year, giving the circumstances out of everything and the way that they started. So I was like, yeah, validating as a fan, not only by kind of in there. So surprise of the year is definitely León, but at the same time, those are going to make it. And you make an excellent point. It's predictable now. Not as predictable as other leagues with 1, 2, 3, and 4 are always the same ones, right? But at least making it in the top 8 in Liguilla. And we're going to probably see the ones that are going to go through are going to be the 4 that we probably thought were going to be in the from the very beginning as we're looking into it. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there's our question. Thank you to everybody that are watching our chats. Christian, Lou, El Dan the Man. So all talking right now. But let me give you guys a rundown. We're going to go through each of the Liguilla matches, kind of preview, giving you a little bit of information on each team, so you'll know when you're watching what to look for, and why is it exciting. Obviously, I think it's going to be a fun Liguilla, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, they don't disappoint on the games. Then we're going
to anything can happen.
Anything
forced.
That's right. We're going to talk a little more Liga MX stuff right there on some of the changes that are happening. Congratulations to San Luis. Also, the Dorados talks with Maradona. I'd love to hear Tom's takes and see. Went to go visit and was there. Then we'll jump into some Liga MX Femenil. As of right now, we have on standby Ms. Amy Lopez, who is watching the game and live tweeting also on a very important match that's there. Pachuca versus Monterrey that are playing right now. So, Adriana, you're watching. What's going on? Just really quick.
22nd minute, and Rayadas is winning 1-0. It was Rebecca Bernal's goal. Rayadas would make it through. It's 3-3 on the aggregate score. So that would make Rayadas the finalists, and they'd play against Tigres. So just like last year for the Clausura, we would have Tigres Monterrey final.
So we want
at this point
Regio Montano. Kind of cool final in the atmosphere. I think it'd be great for that for the sport. So Amy's gonna come in and just if something happens, she's gonna come in and tell us.
Scream.
So scream. So she's on standby right now, watching that and also live tweeting. So thank you so much, Amy. Then we'll talk a little bit about Mexicans abroad, of what some of the news that are coming in, and then end it with L3 chat of some stuff that kind of came through today about some of the players not going to the Gold Cup. And then some Gio Dos Santos rumors that are going on, and maybe we'll have some time to talk about that. So stay tuned, and I think it's going to be a great show. We have lots and lots to talk about. So let's jump in right now with the first game that is on Wednesday. On this kind of schedule, we'll go with 1-8, which is My León making it, seeing it, and now up against Xolos, which is not necessarily a game where people could call a rivalry, but now the talks are there, so it's kind of fun that León is playing Xolos again. I definitely didn't want to go against as a team León versus Xolos, but it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk to the experts, Adriana and Tom. Let's start with the number 8 team, Xolos. You're surprised it's being there, Adriana, and what can you tell us about this team, especially how they got there and what we expect from them in this Liguilla?
Well, first of all, let's remember it's Oscar Pareja's first season in Liga MX, so kudos to him to making it through to the Liguilla on his first season coming in from the MLS. I think they did have a rocky start. It took him a while to get hang of the team, just kind of have a good style. However, they do have some really interesting players like Ariel Nahuelpan, who's just a really active player in going forward through midfield and attacking. Gustavo Bo, I do think, however, they've been the center of several controversial games. I remember I think it was 3-2 victory against America. Lots of different calls by the refs that I think kind of got, I don't know, people were talking about them throughout the rest of the weekend. And then we had this entire controversy regarding the U20 player minute rule. It's kind of, I mean, you can't blame them entirely because Liga MX's rules aren't written very precise and they're kind of hard to understand sometimes. But somehow they had like 300 minutes, like 2 matches to go for the regular season. And then they just said, hey, we have 2 players called up for the U20 national team. So they're adding 90 minutes each or something like that. And that's the way we just completed that rule. I think it was really controversial. And the game against Puebla, there was also a very, was a difficult decision by the ref, but he checked it in VAR. So, and I think it was a real clear penalty for Puebla. That could have changed the entire game because Puebla did need a victory and Xolos only needed a tie to make it through. So I'm not quite sure if Xolos deserves to be in the quarterfinals, to be honest, after all those different controversies. Yeah. But still, I mean, it's glad to see a new coach make it through the Liguilla, especially one coming in from the MLS and kind of opening up the door to other coaches that might consider Liga MX in the future.
Tom, to you, Xolos, obviously not deserved. Adriana not liking the fact that they're there, but they're there.
Yeah.
in the way that we have and what they did over the weekend to make a statement, at least against Puebla.
Yeah, no, I mean, but they're coming in now to the playoffs after winning, 2 games, scoring 8 goals in the last 2 games. So it's all of a sudden, it's kind of like, they might be the last team in there, but they're actually, they're actually hitting some form. They've got absolutely nothing to lose because I don't think many people expected them to be here. Like Adriana said, Nahuelpan and Gustavo Bo, they're in a bit of form as well. Experienced team. I think 9 of the 11 expected starters for Tijuana are like 27 and over. So yeah, I think they're a team that knows what they're doing, playing a 4-4-2. You look at the 4 kind of forward players, with Bo, Nahuelpan, Bolaños, and Jesus Angulo or Eric Castillo, and you think that they can do damage to any team. And I think that's obviously that's going to be important. No team ever likes playing at Estadio Caliente with the artificial turf as well. So I don't know. Nothing to lose, Xolos. I honestly hope that Leon go through because I don't know. I just think Leon right now they've broken the record. They're in position now for the playoffs, and it's almost like I want to see him go up against one of the big boys. When I say that, a Cruz Azul, America, Tigres, or Monterrey. I want to see what they're made of over 180 minutes. So we'll see though. But I think this could be a tough series for Leon. I mean, there's a bit of a rivalry there as well because they both played each other in the second division. So I think this is a tough game, and I think Xolos have got they're going to be absolutely flying at it. And yeah, I think it'll be a tight series, to be honest.
And we talked about Leon.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we kind of just jump into Leon, kind of in what we've seen. I mean, we've kind of discussed it every week, and we're kind of surprised at where they're at, especially as a fan. I kind of went and looked back a little bit more. It was week 10 when Nacho Ambriz was announced, and looking back at my tweets and looking back at everybody kind of around there, and they lost against to Lobos, WAP. That the 1-0 lost, and it was just madness. Right? Everyone was like, why are you getting
why are you
coach?
here?
What are you doing? Then Boselli leaves. All the problem that happened. And then, but, kind of seeing that, I think that was a big turnaround of the statement that Leon kind of said after Boselli leaving. We're not going to, and the controversy that was because he was asking for a lot and he kind of had the team and it was all his. And Leon kind of went back and Nacho got the team kind of back together. Chapito Montes losing some weight, getting back into that same, that same camaraderie of teammates that, were before the second division. I mean, in Liga Ascenso. So it started getting the locker room ready to go, not some great results. And then all of a sudden, everything kind of clicked. Getting some of these players that are coming in and that are actually doing really great. And I feel like that team almost mirrors the team that won the bicampeonato in the way that all the players are now playing together. So excited to see now going, just like you said, against these big boys.
Do you guys remember who was the last team that Leon lost against before their 12
Chivas?
wins? Oh no,
No.
Xolos.
it was
Oh,
Xolos.
Xolos. That's right. That's right.
And it was a home
Xolos.
game for
It was a
Leona
home game.
too. So that was
The reason is because I remember Kati saying that the one time that she went to go see Leon was in Xolos. I don't know why I thought that she was, but Xolos. And as far as the rivalry, right? You know, you asked me a year ago, Adrian. I remember I'm asking you, do you ever think of Xolos Leon being a rivalry? And we're both like, no, not at all. That doesn't come up. But it's kind of funny because now there's a history of the two teams. Now here comes the Liguilla. Leon coming in and not getting the result when they're supposed to get the result. It's kind of this, psychological thing. And I think it is going to be difficult for Leon to come in, just like you said, Tom.
I do think, I think sometimes even the rivalries that come in from Ascenso, they might be more intense than some of the ones that are created once in Liga MX. So I do think that whenever Leon has to travel to the Estadio Caliente, besides having to play in the artificial turf, just like all the fans, Xolos, knowing that, they have nothing to lose and everything, I think it's going to be really intense. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Despite,
however, Leon made it through and they have 41 points and no other team had scored, had got it 41 points in an 18 team system in Liga MX. So I do think it's going to be quite difficult. However, I do think Leon will have the advantage of having the second game at home and then just making it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you expect Leon to go through. Obviously, the favorite, and I'll tell you what, it's just a fun team. I mean, you watch them play, and it's just they kind of got the shackles off. They attack. I think there's been 55 goals in total over the 17 games. 41 of them for Leon. So that's an absolutely ridiculous ratio. Of goals to games in favor. And then they've got the best defense as well. So, this is what I'm saying about I hope they go through because I want to see that challenge, over the 180 minutes and kind of, this might not be fair as a statement, but to kind of, I want to see what they're made of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Are they that good? Are they that good? Is this what we're witnessing here actually the real thing? And I think that's what's going to be put to the test in this Liguilla for Leon. I think it's a negative. Jose Juan Macias, obviously, I think he's going to play the quarterfinal and then go to the Under-20 World Cup. That's a blow. Yeah. I mean, and that's testament to how good he's been. By far the highest Mexican goal scorer in the league this season at 19 years old. So, but they've got players. I mean, I think Joel Campbell was on the bench the other day, and I think he can slot in. They can change the system as well. It's sometimes a 4-4-2, sometimes a 4-2-3-1. So there are options. I don't think it's going to be absolutely definitive, but I mean, the main man, the performance from Angel Mena this season has been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable what he's kind of achieved. And I'm saying that because you look at the stats, 14 goals, and you think, okay, 14 goals in 17 games, it can be done. We've seen it before. But he's also got 10 assists. So it's like in 17 games, he's contributed directly to 24 goals. And I kind of played with the numbers a little bit.
Of course you did.
In the league this season, Messi's played exactly the same number of games, 17. Messi scored 19 and assisted 3. So actually Messi's, he's contributed to fewer goals. And Mbappe as well with PSG. Obviously, there's a difference in quality.
There's a storyline right there.
Slight difference.
You're in Mexico. You're allowed to write these.
This big a difference, probably.
You're allowed to write these type of articles, Tom. Go for it. Like we all want to hear it.
I mean, I'm sure Messi would do okay in Liga MX. You know what I mean?
You imagine.
Who knows against Xolos on the artificial pitch? But no. But it does. I think the point is it stresses how important Mena has been. And just what an absolutely ridiculously amazing season this has been for him, whatever happens now. And to consider he was kind of a flop at Cruz Azul, I just think it makes it even more amazing, really. So yeah, no, I'm really, really excited about what Leon can do. I have got my doubts, when they come up against a big team, but that's what the Liguilla is all about. And so we'll see. But first up, that like we all I think agreed on, it's not going to be easy against Xolos. Pareja is an intelligent manager as well. He's bright. You can tell by the way that he used that rule. You know what I mean? I think there's some managers that wouldn't even know that rule, to be honest.
I'm not sure I would use bright to describe the way they use it. Well, I'd say it's more like tricky, or I don't know, Something a bit more macabre. Yeah, no,
not
exactly right, Tom.
If the rules are there, I mean, but
like Machiavellian
or
something, yeah.
Yeah, it's Machiavellian. Plus it's a bad rule. I mean, it's just. This is one of those examples of where Liga MX, where you come in as like somebody who doesn't know about the league, and you're like, all right, what's this rule then? And like, oh yeah, you got to play like 1,000 minutes for your young players under 20. But if they're called up for the youth national teams, and you're like, what? You've lost me. Like, you just completely lost me.
But that kind of just reminded me. I have a really good friend I always talk about. He visits from Costa Rica and he's here because he got family here. And he comes up and we were watching some of the games. We're watching the CONCACAF Champions League, and he was telling me about he's a big Saprissa fan, and he was telling me about their playoff system is really weird. I don't know if you've known, but it's like 4 teams in a roundabout, like kind of playoff game, and then the first team, if the number 1 team wins, they win it all, like these little roundabout games. If they lose, then like it's okay, they have the final to play. Like the first team that's already in 1 through 4 automatically plays a final no matter what. It's kind of weird, and I'm like,
it's
wow.
very weird.
I'm like, wow. So the number 1 team pretty much makes it to the final. That's it. And if they win in that little roundabout tournament, they win the whole thing. They don't even have to play a final.
Yes, so. It's weird how certain leagues kind of think, just come up with these ideas, because like Argentina, especially in Latin America, it's like Argentina, like we'll have 40 teams in the league. I don't know how many there are, but when a couple of years ago they just opened it up, and it's just weird how it kind of works. And it's even, I think Mexico you can explain a little bit because you've got the cultural influence of the states. You know what I mean?
The playoff system, right?
Yeah, and that kind of mixes in with it.
It makes more money. It's more. It's that type of atmosphere, and they see the NFL and the NBA and all that, and they see how that is. So it's kind of crazy. I think I'm trying to wonder. I'm like, maybe just because we're on this side of the world, and does everybody do that? Like, are there other leagues in Europe that are kind of like, or Africa or Asia that make up their own kind of? I'm pretty sure there are. All right, let's continue to go. Let's talk about the next match. We have Pachuca Tigres. These are both matches that are playing on Wednesday. In fact, I think Pachuca Tigres is first, Xolos León second. Right off the bat, let's jump into Tigres. Not the greatest of week for them, losing. We didn't really have. But this is kind of where we can talk about it. Tuca and what happened last week for Tigres, trying to, obviously win its first CONCACAF Champions, first international trophy. We've known what Tigres is all about. We've seen the team. I think everybody's wanting. It's kind of like a big slap in the face. I'm not a Tigres fan, but I was like, are you serious? This is what you needed to do. This is all of us trying to make sure that Tigres becomes this great, great team. And then that happens. Not the greatest of week last week, now coming into the Liguilla, which they had already secured as the number 2 team. But now I see Tigres being the team that needs to win this to save the season of a failure. So we'll start with you, Mr. Tom, with Tigres and what we need to know and how you see it all played out.
Yeah, no, it's a strange one with Tigres because, wounded animal. Is it going to bounce back? Are they going to be determined? I mean, certainly after the CONCACAF Champions League loss, that was what the players were coming out with. They were like, we're absolutely determined now to win this league. All our focus is going on the league. But I don't know. Sometimes it isn't as easy as that. I mean, Tuca Ferretti's decision to leave Andre Pierre Gignac on the bench at the start of the second leg and the first leg, but especially the second leg, and play him in basically meaningless Liga MX games with Tigres already guaranteed second place. It's just absolutely bizarre. And to be honest, from what I saw in the Mexican press, I know people picked up on it and obviously commented on it, but other managers that have got absolutely ripped apart for that. I mean, it was such a bizarre decision to do that. I mean, I thought Tuca, imagine that's the national team at a World Cup. And it's almost like Aguirre in 2010 or something when he plays Buffo, and it's that kind of level of just head scratching. Like, what are you doing? So I don't know. I mean, players pick up on things like that. To be fair to Gignac, I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
And what he did
after the game, I thought he could have got angry. I thought he could have come out and said a load of things, but he was very much like, we got to focus on the league title now. So yeah, we know about Tigres. I don't think there's any surprise. He has been messing around with the formation. I'm still not sure if he's got his kind of best team in his head. But if you look at the soccer power index thing that the ESPN have, Tigres are the favourite. These are the favourites to win the thing. So yeah, Tigres are going to take some beating. Whatever happens, they're going to take some beating.
Adriani, anything to be said with Tigres there? I'll ask you the question. They don't win this Liguilla. That is a failure now with the Conca Champions.
It's always a failure if they don't win Liguilla now.
But I guess it's like.
Do you remember they had like this who was it, three aperturas in a row that they were winning, or was it the clausura season? I don't remember. But it was
is
like,
it going to be more if they make it, is it going to be more if they make it to a final and they lose a final?
Well,
like this is where it gets dramatic.
I'm kind of happy that they got fans used to not only making it to a Liguilla, but being that really feared team in the Liguilla. I mean, Tigres is a whole different animal when it comes to the Liguilla. I mean, they start off the season and you're like, really? They're playing like that? Is that Tigres? And then it's kind of like I don't know, they like start late in the season. They're like, oh yeah, week 5, they're kind of getting like used to each other and stuff like that. They kind of turn the switch on. And then when they get like to the Liguilla, it's like turbo. Also, it's an entirely different Tigres. I don't know. It's happened so many seasons. What?
Mr. Liguilla comes out to play.
Exactly. And Guiñac is 2 goals away from Tomás Boy's record, by the way.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and he's been playing well. I mean, when he came on in the CONCACAF Champions League, he was like he looked like absolutely on it, you know.
If it weren't for the injury, he would have passed that record like a while ago. So yeah, I think it's gonna be totally difficult for anyone who faces Tigres in whatever conditions. Besides, I mean, whenever any other team has to play at Universitario, it's really just playing 12 because that stadium is amazing. I mean, those fans have really set the bar like for all the other fans. So I think it's going to be totally difficult. I was actually looking at Pachuca. Pachuca hasn't won a single game outside of Estadio de Algo, and they've won all of their games at home, which is so difficult to understand. How could that even happen? But yeah, they have 8 straight victories at home, none outside of the Hidalgo. So I'm pretty sure Tigres is capable of like breaking the home game record for Pachuca and kind of getting at least a tie in that game.
Yeah, I think Pachuca are an interesting team. I think they've created more chances than any other team in the regular season. So they are kind of decent going forward. So they're not the best at the back. And they conceded 26 in the 17 regular season games. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Martin Palermo has done. I think from what I've seen, he's set up the team to work around Edwin Cardona. And Cardona, for me, remains one of the top 5 most talented players in Liga MX. I mean, on his day, when he's on form, when he's kind of motivated, focused, he's absolutely top quality. And this season he's been really good. And basically he's playing like a 4-3-1-2 system. So you've got 3 kind of midfielders, like a diamond-shaped midfield, but you've got 3 kind of more or less behind Cardona. So you basically got 3 people doing the dirty work, doing the running, doing the tackling, and Cardona can just do what he wants. Cardona just drifts, comes in, links up the plate, and you've got 2 strikers ahead of him as well. So I think Palermo deserves some credit for kind of creating that system and motivating Cardona. I mean, nobody's creating more what they term big chances than Cardona this season, and only Mena has got actually more assists than him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Cardona. He's one of my players to watch for the whole Liguilla. I think he's got the ability to change games, and against Tigres he's going to have to be massive. But it's like Adriana said there, the away thing now. Back to last October when they won the last away game. I mean, that's just a joke now. I mean, that seeps into the mentality, that seeps into everything, and then to go to Tigres, it's just, I don't know, psychologically, I think when you run of not winning away is so long, it becomes difficult. So yeah, but
Martin Palermo debuts in the Liguilla, goes against El Señor de las Liguillas, Mr. Ricardo Ferretti, which has been there 38 times, 6 triunfos. 134. I mean, if you gotta go against somebody like that, so it's interesting story we got there.
I think this is potentially the most exciting matchup because we know how Tigres play. We know they're going to come out. We know they're going to attack, try and kind of huge possession. But also, Pachuca are an exciting team. They give away a lot of goals, but they also score a lot of goals. They create a lot of chances. And so I think they're going to have a go at Tigres. I don't think they're going to sit back. And a lot of teams these days against Tigres do try and sit back. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I think this is the series to, from a playing style point of view, this is the series not to miss.
All right, let's switch going to Monterrey. Necaxa versus Monterrey. As we can see, Monterrey having a great week of what happened last week. And excited to see Layun coming in and getting the success that he has. It'll be on Wednesday. Start out, and we'll see that. So we'll start with Adriana to you. Monterrey, great week coming in. Heavily favorites, if now what we're seeing. I think Cesar was the one that mentioned it and said whoever wins the CONCACAF Champions is going to win the Liguilla. So because he didn't want to pick a team.
I mean, if we thought Monterrey was strong, just thinking of, they won the CONCACAF, so they have that emotional push, just having all that pressure away and finally lifting a trophy at the BBVA Bancomer. I think just the fact that they know they're going to face Necaxa without Brian Fernandez must be so much more relief for Monterrey. So I thought they were strongest despite facing Necaxa with Brian Fernandez. So I'm pretty sure they're clear favorites to win Necaxa without him. And I do think the fact that they already won something this season will really benefit them and try to avoid that much more pressure, because we saw this in the stadium. Fans were kind of going away. They had some trouble getting people to the stadium at some point. So now that they've won that, I think it's going to be a lot better for them. It's going to be a lot easier for them to go into the Liguilla and just keep on playing. I mean, you have Rogelio Funes Mori, you have Rodolfo Pizarro, you have Nico Sanchez doing amazingly well too. So I think they have one of the strongest teams as well. So it's going to be, I wish it weren't as easy as it sounds. I wish Brian Fernandez was here, to be honest. But yeah, I think Monterrey is going to have a lot better time just making it through Liguilla, because they know they have so many things in their favor now.
Tom, Necaxa in the sixth comes in the sixth. Interesting enough, no team has won as a sixth seed Liguilla since 1988. Mr. America come in.
Pretty weird.
America, so that's no team in the sixth. Not saying anything, but I thought it was interesting. Amy, do we have an update, Amy?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Monterrey, can you hear me? Yeah, yes. Right? Oh, yeah, halftime right now. So Monterrey's still up 1-0, so they would technically advance. Right?
Cool. All right. There's our update from Amy. Sorry. No, go ahead. Thank you, Amy.
I mean, I think I wrote it in a piece the other day. For me, at the minute, the most complete club in Mexico. When I say complete club, I mean they've got arguably the best squad. They're producing young players, Carlos Rodriguez, Jonathan Gonzalez, Johan Vasquez, who I'm a big fan of at centre back. You've got these players coming through. They're winning tournaments like the CONCACAF Champions League. They're going out buying an Argentine international. They're buying Pizarro off one of the so-called grandes. Mm-hmm. They're buying Gallardo off another one of the grandes. And it's like, the stadium is absolutely amazing. This is a real club that compete with, some of the top-level European clubs, to be honest. I'm not saying in terms of squad quality, but in terms of an organization, Monterrey is an absolute example. So I don't see Necaxa having much of a chance. I'm pretty annoyed, to be honest, about the Brian Fernandez thing. I mean,
it sucks. I was so eager to see him in the league as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the caveat is that he was suspended, so he wouldn't have played anyways. But it's kind of like, you can't sell your player just before the big games start. I mean, you just can't do that. I don't know. But then again, Necaxa probably bought him for what, 1-2 million, and they're going to sell him for over 10 million. I mean, within what, a year? I mean, it's not a bad profit, that is it? So you can understand it, but it's just from a sporting point of view, it's kind of annoying because it's a 3-game suspension in the second game of the semi-final. If you're a truly ambitious club, then your priority is, and your mental focus has to be on winning this tournament. And I think letting a player go like that, I don't know, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, but it has. And yeah,
they
and I
said
think
they
without
weren't going to let those things happen anymore. They said, no, we're not going to like tear the team apart after the season. We've done that before. We're actually going to keep it now. And then this goes through. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, and I think it goes, Guillermo Vasquez, going back to what I was saying at the start, it talks about what a great job he's done as well, because this is a team that just gets dismantled. And once again, they put it together before the start of the season. They made the money. And Necaxa is probably a very, very profitable club with what they're doing in the transfer market. So it's not like, they're doing a good job in that respect. But in terms of ambition, I don't know what it says. But yeah, and I don't think this squad is, I don't know. I think they've absolutely outdone themselves, but I think a lot of it has been down to Fernandez. So I don't give him much hope going up against Rayados.
All right. We got León, Rayados, Tigres, and now we got the last playoff Liguilla with Club América versus Cruz Azul. What we have to say, maybe this is the one that's kind of up there. Or do we already have America kind of going through? Does Cruz Azul have a chance? So let's start with Cruz Azul. After a season that they had last year, which everyone was a super leader and lost the final, everyone just kind of kept Cruz Azul as being the team that they'll make it to the Liguilla, and now they're here ready as a team. To you, Adriana, let's start Cruz Azul first. Can they make a splash in the Liguilla and try to, I guess, redeem themselves for what happened last year, or is it too hard with too many teams better than them?
Oh God, please redeem yourself anytime soon would be amazing. I somehow think that this Cruz Azul is stronger than last season's. I think last season kind of took advantage of the fact that they were first place. They kind of, I don't know, I think they kept their guard down at some point, despite being first place. I do see a stronger team right now, but it's kind of difficult to understand why, because if you look at the strikers, they're not really the ones that are scoring. I mean, despite you only have like Mito Caraglio, but the other ones, I think they're kind of absent with the squad. I mean, you sometimes see a bit more action with the midfielders. I think mentally they might be more prepared for this game, and also taking in the fact that somehow America wasn't in one of the first 4 places of the Liguilla. So I do think America has a bit more pressure this time, so they might take advantage of that. I hope they do. Even Caixinha said today, we can't make the mistake of being scared again, which means that they were scared last season. So maybe now the fact that it's quarterfinal game, maybe not as much pressure as a final. I'm hoping they make it through. I'm hoping somehow Caixinha took charge of the mentality of the team much more than how they're actually playing, to make sure that they take advantage of. America is not playing as well as they should be. I mean, they don't have Nico Castillo in the best position. They don't have Oribe Peralta. Jeremy Menez is fighting with Miguel Herrera. So I do think Cruz Azul does have a slight edge over America. It's only a matter of seeing if they can actually take it home and make it through to the semifinals.
Tom, Cruz Azul ended with 10 games without losing coming in. It's a strong Cruz Azul. America shaky. I mean, we were even thinking about they might not even make Liguilla a few weeks ago. But again, the history in the favor of America, who has beaten Cruz Azul in the last, I think it's 13 games that America doesn't win. I mean, that Cruz Azul doesn't win. And now we're going in the last time, obviously, Miguel Herrera's team in Apertura 2018 was when they won. So as far as Adriana saying, there's a little slight edge for Cruz Azul. America historically in especially the last 2 years, kind of has got that edge, and it's Cruz Azul too. So, what do you see happening?
No, I mean there's not much between them. I mean, you look at the betting odds, and there's really nothing. There's nothing between them. No, I agree with pretty much everything Adriana said there. I think Pedro Caixinha deserves credit for losing Marcone to Boca Juniors earlier in the season in January, because everybody thought, including myself, that would be such a massive blow, and it was, because they weren't playing well. He couldn't find a solution to losing Marcone, who's a player on the fringe of Argentina's squad, which tells you a lot about his quality. But he switched things up. Caixinha, he's obviously thought about it a lot. Yotun Alvarado kind of playing attacking midfield roles. You've got Rafa Baca now playing a holding role. Orbelin Pineda, kind of almost a false winger. And so Caixinha's he's put together this team now. He's put together a system that's kind of suited to these. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. But like always with the Caixinha team and this Cruz Azul team, it's all about the defense. They're going to have to be really solid again. I think it was the second best defense in the league, and that even taking into account in the early stages they did concede quite a lot. So, Pablo Aguilar is obviously vital. But yeah, there's not much between these teams. Like Adriana said, America's not in a great place right now. I mean, the Menes thing and the rumors coming about off the field stuff that's going on with him, and I don't know, it just feels like it's not a great place. And I think because of that, I just about got Cruz Azul to go through. But at the same time, it's America. They're the reigning champions. They can go and win this title. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. America have got enough quality to go and win this title. But yeah, I mean, they need a couple of good games. They need America. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say it, but they need this. They need a good series. They can have a good series against Cruz Azul, then the confidence goes up. The players see the end of the line. They see the final, and America can 100% win this tournament.
Well, I mean, I guess on the last four, like we said, that's kind of what we see. Where if a Cruz Azul wins or America wins, it's probably the one that stands up, and you're seeing that in the betting odds. So who goes through on this one then?
I've got Cruz Azul.
Adriana?
I think I choose Cruz Azul because, as Tom mentioned, they've gone through so many things this season. I mean, you had the whole thing with Marcone. I remember there was this kind of dispute between Caixinha and Peláez, and then Caixinha had this press conference with Peláez, and it was kind of like the low point. And then they just grew out of that, and now they have a stronger team. I mean, they're celebrating that Caraglio is the first striker since Mariano Pavone to score 10 goals. Not the best thing to celebrate, but yeah, still something that they should, I hope, take advantage of. So yeah, it does seem as Cruz Azul might have I'd go for Cruz Azul, honestly, this season. I mean, the home and away game is just indifferent. They're playing at the same place, so I don't think that'll change anything. I mean, it's not something you take into consideration. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna have the home game on the second leg. That's just whatever. So yeah, I think you might
start on a different side of the
field.
Like home's always on one side, and
I think
where it is.
Yeah, I think
the afición is on one side, right?
Yeah,
like the aficiones have to change, I think.
Yeah, they just might stay wherever they usually
stay. Make it easier for them.
But yeah,
got it.
It's just easy. I think just figuring out what beer they're going to sell is a lot more difficult. But yeah, I think I'd go for Cruz Azul.
Okay. I'm continuing to say I would say America just. I had America winning the whole tournament.
Because it's America, because it's Cruz
Azul.
No,
not because America, just because I'm like Cruz Azul, America, Cruz Azul. I'm just anytime I put my hope in Cruz Azul. But it'd be interesting, if Cruz Azul does make it, let's say León, Monterrey, Tigres, Cruz Azul, I think it'd be great. Or León, Monterrey, Tigres, America. We're getting ready to have a really good, semifinal. That's what's interesting to always see that.
No, yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, there's our preview for Liguilla. I hope you definitely enjoyed it. Spent a little more time on it. We really wanted you guys to have and go through with it, so that guys are listening to us on the iTunes, and then obviously all of you guys that are on. Tell us what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to go through, and why? And we'll retweet them there on Twitter with the Mexican Soccer Show that we're doing that. We're going to continue. I know we went a little late, but we'll finish off the show. Let's just kind of jump in really quick. More of Liguilla, but we'll start with Liga MX Femenil. As you can talk, we talked about Tigres now secured a spot, and everybody's waiting for Monterrey, unless you're a big Pachuca fan, right? We're waiting for Monterrey to get this, so it would be another a final that everyone will be paying attention to. Not that if Pachuca doesn't do it, but as we've seen historically and the rivalry that's there. So Adriana and I think everyone would also kind of just jump in. Liga MX Femenil, obviously we already voiced it, but important again that it's going to be two high-profile teams.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really happy for Rayadas. I really hope if they make it through, I hope they win, just because I'd like to see different teams be champions of Liga MX Femenil. I was kind of rooting for Pachuca. It seems really, really difficult at this point. However, they only need a goal, but it's the BBVA Bancomer. I mean, Pachuca has done amazing. They've been one of these clubs that had the most support. They have their own uniforms. They have their own training facilities. It's just one of those teams that's done things right for the Liga MX Femenil. But you have Rayadas, on the other hand, that had a record-breaking season. They have amazing players. They have national team players. They're strong throughout the entire squad. And if they do make it through against Tigres, who is the first finalist, it's going to be so difficult. This was the final last year. Tigres won at the BBVA Bancomer. And Tigres is just a killer team. It's the team that you want to beat during the season. It is possible to beat them. I mean, León did that, and León isn't one of the strongest teams in the league. But still, I mean, just seeing another Clásico Regio for Liga MX Femenil would really be exciting, and just show the other teams that these are the teams that are doing the best in the league.
Awesome to see that. And the cool thing is that, you know, we'll be seeing a lot of news coming out of it if those two teams come, which is the coverage that we'll be seeing, the fans that are going to be involved.
And it's the third time that Tigres makes it through the final, so just goes to show who's the tougher team in the league as well.
And who's doing it. You know, it's no surprise that these two are teams that are doing it well in Liga MX Femenil are the ones that are going.
Yeah,
that's part of the resources.
It's the resources. It says a lot about the club as well. You know, you can tell a lot of time on the women's side what the institution is like, and Tigres and Monterrey are just pushing the boat out, and that's why they're making finals. And to be fair, Pachuca as well are up there because Pachuca are a good club. You know what I mean? I think there's an overlap there as well.
Amy, joining in the conversation of Liga MX Femenil, you also want, just on the record, you want Monterrey to get in, or are you with the Adriana that Pachuca deserves it because of what they've put in?
Well, I've talked to Adriana about this a lot, so I am kind of like happy ending for whoever, but I would love to see, especially now, because I feel like, I know Adriana has said it plenty of times, and I feel like now we're passing that point where it's the novelty that Adriana kept talking about. So at this stage of the league, it would be great to see a final between Tigres and Monterrey, and just how many. I mean, we've already seen tons of fans come beforehand when they would face each other, but I would love to see it now in this atmosphere, in this landscape. Because I mean, you saw León, you saw the men's side and the women's side and what they were capable of doing when they got to their first Liguilla. So I want to see the environment that it would be like now, that they're not just in their first season or in their second season. Like, no, let's see how well it would do. And I mean, it's kind of like with the men's side too, which is really great to see. These are two teams that are very, very good. They're very, very strong. I never thought America had a chance against Tigres. They kind of were trying, but it was no contest. And then Pachuca had a really good first leg. But I mean, like we're seeing right now, Monterrey is gonna probably advance. So you're gonna see the best two teams face each other.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Tigres, for instance, I mean, the support they've gotten also from the fans has been just amazing. I mean, it's something that other teams should really take as an example. I mean, if you're talking about León, Querétaro, Santos, if you just take a look at what Tigres it does sometimes, getting so many fans to the stadium, breaking records. I mean, last year, it was only this week, a year ago, when they broke the world record for attendance at a league game with 52,211 people. So just thinking that could happen again. I mean, sadly, they can't break the record again because their stadiums aren't big enough. But it's just amazing the support they've got. And I mean, Tigres already has a new player for next season. They got Natalia Gomez Junco coming in from Spain this season. She couldn't play because
and she's still joining the team.
But she's in the team and she's going to play next season. So, I mean, that's how far ahead Tigres is looking into the league. So it's just amazing to see these two teams. I hope more people could actually look into them and just see how talented players like these players are.
Yeah, and I guess it's also about momentum, right? So like Leon's the men's side is doing really good. So then the women's side gets into the and they get the support for the team to want to have more fans to be engaged in it. And you're seeing it right now. Monterrey was behind, but now they scored a goal, and you see a player like Layun saying, "Hey, like good job, like you guys are doing well." So you have that momentum of, if Monterrey manages to get into the final, which it looks like they're going to, you have the men's side who just finished winning the Champions League. I'm pretty sure they're going to tell people like, "Hey, go and support the team," which is really great.
It's funny that you mentioned that, and the fact that, do we see any Liga MX Femenil teams do better than the men's, or
Atlas?
And it's kind of like, when you're seeing that both teams are doing better, you're going to see it with the afición. I mean, they kind of have that, so it's like everyone does better.
It's something like a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of like comes in. Oh my god, it was almost a goal. But yeah, except for Atlas making it through in Puebla, which is just the most amazing example. I mean, it's only their second season, and they made it through Liguilla in Group 1. That was just amazing. I mean, I don't know what happened to Toluca, for instance. They kind of lost a lot of players and couldn't make it up. But yeah, like Amy was saying, like the example of seeing Leon do so well, the change in that Leon Femenil had this season was also something to take advantage of and just show that as an institution, you kind of make all that good talent, like just make it its way through to good results as well.
It's like a good and a bad thing, right? Because you obviously want, to make a statement of the women's league and being, hey, this is a league that everyone should be watching and we should be paying attention to it, not just because the men's team is doing as good, right? But at the same time, as an institution of Leon, separating both of them, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? But at the same time, that it's an institution that they're, it's two teams in one institution, and you need that support from look at what Tigres is doing. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing as a team, and it's lending that arm to Tigres Femenil and opening the stadium and getting people there. That's gonna grow hopefully, and continue that. So it's on a perfect world, we would just want that afición to be a part of it. So, but I hear from people my family too about Leon, and it's like little girls that are growing up and seeing that and being a part of that. It's going to take a long time for that to happen. When you're seeing that, am I only a feminine Leon fan with, and on the men's side, maybe another team, that's going to be kind of hard, but especially from different cities, but I'm sure.
I think that's what some of the clubs have understood, that they can actually get people to root for the club and not a squad or a team.
Yeah.
So that way you kind of like embrace the fact that you like Tigres, so you're going to root for Tigres no matter where.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Tigres, Monterrey, and Pachuca have they've gotten that idea. They know how important it is for people to identify with all squads no matter where they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also why most of the teams have good results on the men's, and then they'll have good results with the women as well. It's kind of rare to see what happened with Puebla and Atlas just making it through when the men did.
Awesome. Great conversation we'll have there. We're going to jump right into really quick, just more Liga MX stuff, and then we'll talk about some of the national team and throw in some Mexicans abroad right there. But really quick, some notes. Santos undergoing some changes. Iragorri kind of leaving to same parent company, if I understood correctly, on that. But really quick, before we kind of jump, or at least mention it, San Luis, Liga MX, what's happening? Tom, Maradona stays or leaves?
No, I think Maradona's leave. I think he'll leave. I mean, he's got a big movie coming out in the.
You got a movie coming out.
It's on his time in Napoli. I think he's going to get a lot of attention surrounding that. Can't see him staying, to be honest. He's reached 2 finals. I think he's.
Is it like a movie of his life? Is it like a Netflix?
No, it's about his time at Napoli. Yeah, in when he was playing there. So yeah, I don't know. I just can't see him staying. I just think he'll. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Atletico San Luis. I think it's going to be fascinating in Liga MX. Obviously, owned by Atletico Madrid. So
yeah,
it's going to be. I think for the first time ever. I'm not 100% sure about that, but a foreign voice in the Liga MX owners meeting, which is going to be absolutely fascinating.
Is he already shocked?
Yeah. You imagine the first meeting. All right, so this is how it works, eh?
So you know how you can transfer players from one team to the other? No, that doesn't happen. You have to ask my permission.
I wonder if anybody's got advisors like, oh, by the way, what have you got yourself into? And Atletico Madrid saying it's it's the biggest investment outside of Spain is San Luis. It's kind of cool.
No, yeah, it is cool. I think it's a serious institution over in Spain, and I think it's a serious institution as well in Mexico. I think it's better for the league, to be honest. That you've got like someone like Alfonso Sosa, winning his third promotion, and is going to get a chance again in the first division than Maradona, to be honest. I mean, for its kind of media, obviously, but in terms of having a serious project, I think on the women's side as well, just an example, you look at Atletico Madrid, they've just won the league again, third consecutive title on the women's side. And, you can see how quite easily they're going to replicate that on the women's side as well. I think they'll compete there. But like I said before, I think that says a lot about the institutions as well. And I think San Luis are going to be up there. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. Yeah, the Atlas and Santos and Iraragorri. It looks like Grupo, well, Orlegui
Orlegui
Sports.
Sports, yeah.
Orlegui Sports is going to kind of start administrating Atlas in conjunction with Azteca, with Grupo. So that's going to be fascinating as well, because if they can run Atlas as good as they were running, or they are running Santos Laguna, then all of a sudden Atlas might have at least have a bit more dignity, you know what I mean, than the last few years, because it's just been a disaster. So that's going to be fascinating as well. That may also mean we have another good owner in the league in terms of running a club. So yeah, a lot of changes I think is going to come at the end of the month when there's an owners meeting.
There's so much going to be talked about in that meeting. I mean, you're going to have the 19 teams again next season. I don't know how they're going to make the off week for every team. Apparently, we're going into 9-9, the 9-9 system for the foreign players. And I hope somehow they kind of correct the U20 rule so it actually makes sense now, and then we don't have something like Xolos like taking advantage of it again. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting meeting. It's going to be really difficult to see all these decisions made. I mean, they said they weren't going to have one same company for several teams. They kind of like crossed that out, and they're like, yeah, never mind. We know that there's enough companies that are willing to take on a Mexican team. So now you're going to have like Grupo Salinas with several teams again. And then, I mean, you could have had Grupo Caliente do that as well if Dorados made it through, which they didn't. And I'm kind of glad that didn't happen for some reason. I think it's a lot more solid to see Atletico San Luis make it through. I think their project will be way more interesting for Liga MX than what Dorados could offer at this point.
I think even though we kind of wanted them out, I don't want to see what happens, but I think they're not ready for Liga. First division, and we're looking at that. All right, jumping around, we went from Atletico Madrid in the San Luis story. We'll go for Mexicans abroad, and we're gonna just kind of jump in. Congratulations to Mr. Kenty Robles there with the senior team player. Obviously, Atletico Madrid winning 3 Liga Iberdrola in Spain, and I think it's now 6 for Kenty, with 3 with Barcelona. So. We talk about Mexicans abroad, and we're talking about that. I know Amy was I know she was coming in and out, but opportunity hopefully to get something going with Kenty as far as an interview there. So stay tuned if that does happen. But other kind of news, we like to connect things. Maradona, the Napoli movie, Napoli rumors with Chucky Lozano. There's a theme here, guys. We plan, we pre-plan. We're seeing that. Last week with an injury, big question was, is Chucky Lozano going to be able to play the Gold Cup? And we're looking at that. But now some Napoli rumors. Really quick, Tom, Chucky to Italy? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased about the Italian league, but I just don't feel like it is what it was before.
No, he needs to go to Arsenal.
Arsenal, is that what you said?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think it'd be bad. I don't think it's. I don't know. It smells to me like an agent fishing, sending out a story to fish for other clubs, to get other clubs to kind of come in. That's what it sounds like to me, because it only came from one place. So yeah, I don't know. I think let's hold tight. It's obvious Ancelotti likes Lozano, but I think Lozano's if it's like 40 million, 50 million, that's not expensive these days. Yeah. I think there'll be plenty of interest in it.
Yeah. All right, and we're wrapping up. We'll talk a little bit more about next week with El Tri. We know there's some stories on there with Chicharito and now Hector Herrera. As soon as it gets a little more confirmed, I know Ruben Rose from Fox Sports kind of tweeted that out. We'll have a serious discussion about it and give it some time. The list for the Gold Cup should come out this week, is what I'm hearing. So once that list comes out, I'm sure next week we'll kind of dissect it, and we'll be talking all about who's in and who's not. Hector Herrera choosing maybe not to, from what we're seeing, not to participate in Gold Cup because new teams, or we're looking at it. We'll give it the time that it's deserved on that. So stay tuned for more conversations that we do have once we get more of the information. Don't worry. There's a lot of talk with Liga MX English and also the English, especially at the end of the week when Adriana and Amy kind of go through the stories. And I'm sure they'll be talking about the first legs of the Liga MX English, also with Liga MX Femenil storylines. And if the list comes out regarding the Gold Cup, these ladies will be chatting all about it. So stay tuned for the Our Football podcast is coming at the end of the week. And then also really quick, a good plug, Tom, Mr. Cesar Hernandez, and also El Gran Amigo from Gold.com, Mr. John Arnold, have an amazing podcast once a month on one topic. It's called La Mexican Onda. So great discussion that they have there, all in depth. So I know they just got their second episode. So there's a lot of talk and a lot of podcasts that we have in our little network of Liga MX English and also El3 English. So there's lots for you to do that. So, all right.
Cool.
That has been our show. We'll be squeezing in U17 CONCACAF Champions League. We can talk for like 3 hours, honestly, but we don't want to.
U20 World Cup coming up too.
U20 World Cup. So there's a lot in the lot of the summer. We'll do that. Amy, thank you very much for putting everything all together, producing the show like always. As you're coming in, we'll give you a preview, and then we'll see what happens next Monday. Adriana from Guadalajara, once again, thank you again. And Mr. Tom Marshall. Here comes the travel months in the summer. So,
there we go.
Get all the Guadalajara food out of your system now, because things will do that. So it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to go on a diet here. Tell me that.
All right, guys. This has been the Mexican Soccer Show. I'm Wiso. We'll continue to do what we do here on another edition of Monday Night Football in Mexican Soccer Show. Hasta la próxima.